to another video, folks. We don't know how this is gonna go. Obviously, we're doing a little boat to boat shooting action today. So hopefully you guys enjoy this. Mitchell's got his big fancy cameras, lenses. It's like 50 degrees out this morning. Big summertime cool down. And we're just gonna go out, kind of to just do a little bit of fun fishing, see what happens. The goal is we're fishing one of these, smaller Northwoods lakes today. And we're just hoping to have a halfway decent morning, put 5 decent walleyes in the boat, and that's kind of the plan. There's not really a whole lot else to say. Hopefully this one's gonna be cinematic. Hopefully you guys are gonna enjoy it. And let's get to it. I'm just excited to not have Mitch in my boat today and have him in his own boat. I just get my whole boat to play around in. Let's make it happen. All right, look at this beautiful, unreal day. Now, what makes these little Northwoods lakes special to me? Well, it's kind of like what I grew up, walleye fishing. I didn't used to fish for walleyes that much, and then started getting into walleye fishing. And it's walleyes are an extremely cool fish. Number one, they can live so many places. They're kind of just kind of like this famed part of walleyes, where like they're this finicky, timid fish. There's a million different ways to fish for them. And it's kind of one of the reasons that walleye fishing's so special to me, because it's such a kind of a unique, mystical creature almost. You look at a lot of the old school walleye fishing articles and things like that, and a lot of that kind of like mystique of the little Northwoods lake, fog rolling off in the morning is always kind of, what makes my job so special, I guess. I'm pretty lucky to be able to do it every day. But we're gonna catch some fish today. At least that's kind of the hope. We got the TKI live down. I'm gonna start out just looking at some open water, some deep structure. It's kind of, this first week of August now. So we gotta put something together, see what happens. I'm gonna throw a few different things. I kind of got just my summer lineup ready to rock. 3 Elliott rods, shiver minnow, 1/4 ounce Pendu jig that I'll put a crawler on, 5/8 search bait. And we're just gonna go to town, throwing those baits. Maybe we'll hit our first one with a big shiver minnow and start on the aggressive side and see where the day leads us from there. Got him right there. Number one. Should be a big one too. Angry one. Holy smokes. That one was a long ways out there. He full committed on the shiver. Had a couple maybe not a walleye. I don't know, we'll see if it is gonna be a real big one. It looked like a real walleye mark, but it could just be like a 33-inch pike too. Come here, buddy. Come here, buddy. This is one of my absolutely favorite things to do. Hunting big walleyes in a lot of this small, kind of isolated water throughout the Northwoods. A lot of times it's not a thing where you're gonna go and get a million bites. Oh yeah, it's a real big walleye. Stud of a walleye. Whoa, whoa. Come here, buddy. That one's angry, I'd say. Just taking a run, dude. We might have one of those special ones. One of these, 27, 28 inchers out of these lakes, which are the rare ones to get. We'll get our net out. Well, that's fun. That's a fun way to fish. Come here, buddy. Come here, buddy. A lot of times in the summertime, you can lock down on like a weed edge and target a lot of kind of the average size ones. Or you can go out to some of this deeper, very basin related structure and kind of go for the low number, very big fish pattern. This is a stud of a walleye. Come here, buddy. Look at him. Oh, we got him. Doesn't get much better than that right there. That kind of makes all the casts where those fish are inactive or covering all the water you have to get a bigger bite worth it. That is cool. All right, let's get them off. That is the way you want to start the day. Gotta get my pliers. Come here, buddy. That is a beefy one, man. Holy smokes. Look at that big sack of gold. Come here, big girl. Big old purple shiver minnow. She was not gonna come off. She's got that whole treble hooked real good inside of her mouth. And these are the special ones in a lot of these lakes. Look at that one. That is what we're after right there. That is a big, mean little Northwoods Lake walleye right there. They don't get a whole lot bigger in a lot of these lakes. That fish is probably all of 27, maybe a touch higher. We'll get her back. Got to take such good care of these girls in these lakes because they are a very limited resource. Oh, look at that thing, dude. That is what we're after. That makes my heart happy. Oh, see you later, big girl. Oh, only 1, 2, 3 of those bites a day. It's kind of what make this pattern worth it. And that is what I'm talking about. That fish bit probably, you know, there's a lot of different ways you can target these fish. Obviously, we used to do a lot of trolling with the Humminbird Mega Live. We do a lot of casting now, but big, heavy piece of lead, oftentimes the way to go. That's a number 3 moonshine shiver minnow. I think it's called purple goby or purple plum or something like that. Cracking it up above their head, making them react. Some of these little lakes, there's so much bait the fish can sit around that you almost need something like really slow and tantalizing right in front of them, or you need something big and snappy to make those fish hunt. That one was obviously all over it. Oh. All right, guys, I always like to do this mid-season. You never would trust someone who's reviewing a used car or car unless they had a whole 100,000 miles on it, right? Otherwise, yeah, every new truck's great, but what do they look like at 100,000 miles? So, want to do the walkthrough on the Warrior. Generally, I do these once a season, somewhere near the middle of the season, and that's what we're gonna do now. A little bit of a walkthrough. So, this is the Warrior 2090. If you're a big tiller guy, this is the king of all boats, right? The Warrior 2090 is a 20.5 foot or something like that tiller boat, obviously, as there's no steering wheel on it, and it is the king of boats in its class for this. So let's take a little bit of walkthrough. Maybe some of you guys are familiar with the boat, maybe some of you guys aren't, but we get so many questions on it that we have to do one. So I'm just gonna do a quick walkthrough of the compartments. Back here, big live well. This is generally where I put a lot of waters in the boat or things of that nature. Right now, there's just some empty coffee cans in there. That's that. In here, this is where I keep a lot of like the stuff that I'll be using a lot, I guess. My graph covers. It's a huge storage compartment in here. Tons of batteries for our mics, coffee mug, drone batteries, Mitchell. We thought those were missing, but they are in fact in this giant compartment. Yeah, this is where I'll keep a lot of filming stuff, some spare tools in there, a lot of my live recording stuff. You can load this thing up with Plano boxes too. It fits an enormous amount of Plano boxes in here. So that's that. Most important thing you could put on a boat, maybe scroll right down here between my skinny legs, Mitchell. Wave Pro seat bases. Now, these are fully air ride seat bases, which make running rough water extremely easy, especially for your passenger, like we have one on the passenger seat too. These hydraulic seats like this, or these shock seats like this, the Wave Pros, you might pay a little bit for them up front, but you're gonna have them for your entire life. So they're kind of a no-brainer thing to add to any boat, especially if you're somebody who's gonna be running, you know, 2, 3, 4, 5 foot waves at times. So it's kind of that. Back Humminbird Apex 16. Probably one of my favorite parts about this boat are these shelves under here. And they make it super quick and accessible to hold 1,000,000 rods. So we were filming a trolling video the other day. I still have a few trolling rods in here. I got 3 trolling rods in here that fit no problem, and you can fit like a 12-foot lead core rod in here if you wanted to. So it makes it extremely easy to carry 1,000,000 rods with you. Also, if you come under here, you're gonna have more rod storage under here. That's one thing with this Warrior. I mean, it is designed for the hardcore fisherman. You're gonna be able to fit rods up to, I wanna say like 7.5 feet in there, and you could probably stack another 6 spinning rods in there, or 3, 4 trolling rods, no problem. I also have the same thing on the other side here, which is where we got some planer boards from the other day, batteries, another camera. I got my 3 spinning rods I've been fishing with today right in here, and this obviously will drop down too and allow you to fit another, you know, 3, 4 trolling rods in there, or whatever you're gonna be using, or Plano boxes, or whatever you might have. So moving up to the bow, this is obviously where I spend a lot of time fishing. Now, first of all, you got giant rod box. I don't even know if I even have any rods in here right now because there's so much rod storage. Deep rod box. So you're gonna be able to put a lot of rods in here. I have no problem putting 7.5 foot spinning rods in here. No issue on that at all. Then on this side, you have another front live well. A lot of times I'll use this as my bait well. If I'm keeping like leeches or minnows or whatever I might be, I'll use that one as that. You have a cooler over here, which is generally where we'll put our ice and waters and things like that. Right now it's got a drift sock in there, but tons of storage. That's kind of the big thing. Probably the biggest storage compartments, which have an enormous amount of room, are these 2 up front. Now on this side, I keep 4 or 5 life jackets in here, paddle, bump board, buoys, all that kind of stuff. And the one thing you're gonna notice is, we'll see if we can find one here. I could probably find a life jacket that still has a tag on it in here. Maybe not, maybe this one, we'll see. Maybe this part will just get edited out. But none of them have tags on it right now. But there's no moisture that gets in here because of this, like, whatever gasketed material this is. You put stuff in here, and it's not like other boats where it's gonna get wet. Everything in here stays bone dry all year. Last year I had life jackets in here with the tag still on, and I pulled them out at the end of the season, and they look like they just came out of a package from the store. So no moisture gets into this compartment, and they're absolutely enormous compartments. You could fit even more stuff in there than I have. On the right side, I'll put a lot of baits in here. I generally don't carry like 1,000,000 baits with me at a time unless I'm on some bigger, longer trip. So this gets a little bit messy in here, but obviously you can keep it a little bit nicer in your boat. But I could fit 1,000,000 baits in this compartment. So I'll put a ton of my tackle in there, and that's kind of how I like to set that up. Up front, we got the Warrior bump seat. Run 2 Mega Lives on my boat. It is super nice if like me and Mitchell are fishing, or I'm fishing with someone else, to run 2 at the same time. Both of those are on TKI CNC mounts, which we've shown a bunch before, and link in the description. Get a ton of questions on those. And then 2 Humminbird Apexes at the bow of the boat. One of these is tied into my main system. The other one is a standalone. The top one's a standalone. That one I'm always running live on. This one I'll split between mapping, side imaging, or the 3rd additional live. At the bow, our main powerhouse is the Minn Kota Terrova Quest. This is a 112 pounder, so the 36 volt, 72 inch, and these things are a beast. When we were filming today, Mitch has the older model of Terrova, and it's amazing the difference in thrust that I have pushing a bigger boat versus the older model. So if you are in the model for you know, a neutral motor like this Tarova style, make sure you look at the Quest model, because you're gonna be blown away by how much power and speed it has. So that's kind of my setup. One thing I do really like is running these track systems instead of rails for my lives, because it makes it super easy to move this around the boat if I want to. The other big thing to think about is if you're gonna be rigging a boat, using forward facing, especially if you're a walleye guy, rig up plugs all over the place. So I have 2 plugs up here to Mega Live, but it's super simple for me to unconnect this, take that whole mount, put it in my back track base, and then what I can do is just tie in my Mega Live to this graph if I want to run back here, if I'm on a river and I'm fishing wing dams or something like that. So this is how I set my boat up. I can't say enough good things about the Warrior 2090. If you are in the market for kind of the king of king, I know this isn't like everybody's going to run out and buy a 2090, because it is kind of a specialized fishing machine. Unbelievable in big water, unbelievable fishing platform, and that's kind of my take. I know we're going to get asked the question. 175 Yami SHO. Thing's been absolutely bulletproof now for 2 years for me. Top speed about 48 miles an hour, carrying a fair amount of equipment and full on gas. So can't say enough good things about this rig. I work a lot with the Boat Center, which is in Ramsey, Minnesota, and Chippewa, Wisconsin. And they are some of the nicest people to work with, number one. Number two, they know how to rig graphs and rig boats in this fashion where there's a lot of stuff going on. Can't say enough about that. So if you're in the market for a new boat, I'll link them down below in every single video, and check out the Boat Center, because they are people, it's easy to get stuck in the mode where you're just like, oh yeah, throw this on it, throw that on. And you go to some place that maybe isn't used to this, and you end up with this doesn't work, that doesn't connect to this, and your transducer doesn't turn on. So go to the Boat Center if you're gonna have somebody do that. Right there. Feeling good. Feeling good. On the old search bait, baby. That pod was finicky. I started out casting a couple hyper rattles at him. Switched over. Whoa, whoa. Switched over to the old search bait, and that one absolutely crushed it. He is angry. They've definitely been some tighter lipped fish today, but we are getting a few to go. Come here, buddy. Come here, buddy. Just want to take a look at it. This one's real angry. Should be another real nice fish. Oh yeah, another tank, dude. Tank for one of these lakes. Look at that one. Holy smokes. Come here, buddy. Gotta get her net. Scoopy up. Scoopy up. Just a fatty, man. Just a 24-inch absolute chunk of a walleye. And if there's a couple baits that gotta come with summertime walleye hunting, one big, deep, heavy glide bait style lure, and then one Kalen's tungsten search bait. One of these essentially spinner rig style lures that you can cast at these fish kind of no matter where they are in the water column. That one came on old 5/8 purple, which is just a story as old as time. Look at the build on those things, dude. My favorite fish in the world, these little clear deep pothole Northwood style lake walleyes. They exist in low numbers in a lot of these systems, but when you can get on them and getting, you know, 2, 3, 4, 5 of these to go in the morning. They are a special fish. They grow super slow, and these bigger ones are an extremely valuable resource that you got to be letting go. And there was actually a couple of them in that school. They've been kind of tough to get them to open their mouth. Casting net a lot, a few of them bite, and we're just covering an absolute ton of water to get a few of these suckers to go. But that's the deal right there, the old 5/8 search bait. All right, guys, quick update, momentary break from the action, but we filmed, I don't know what sequence all these YouTube videos are going up, but there's a trolling video, really good trolling video. We caught a bunch of big fish trolling crankbaits several days ago now that may have already been on YouTube or not, but we filmed a bunch of behind the scenes walleye now stuff, and one specifically is a trolling tip which I do a ton using forward-facing sonar. It doesn't involve tracking your bait and all that fancy stuff. What it involves is using that to really hone in your process as to where in the water column you should be trolling. So if you're a big crankbait troller, really spring, summer, or fall, and do a lot of trolling for suspended fish, that video will be on Walleye Now right now. It'll be under summer, natural lakes, reservoirs, and it'll be under maybe a situational tips, would you say, Mitchell? Yep. Situational tips, and it'll be called How to Dial In Suspended Fish Trolling, or something to that effect. You guys will see it on there. But that was like one of those days where that was the only reason we caught fish. So we don't come out a lot of times to make app videos where it's like, let's go film how bright baits on a sunny day are better than purple iridescent baits on a cloudy day. We don't film stuff like that, go out specifically to film that on Walleye Now. What we do is when we're out fishing and we see something that makes a big difference, I film a video on it then, because at that exact moment, I know it's gonna make a big difference for people that are watching that information. So if you're a Walleye Now user, make sure you get over there. If you're not a Walleye Now user, it is available on Google Play and the App Store. Look up Walleye Now, and all that information will be right there. We also put a crankbait tuning piece on there. There's also all my Mega Live settings are on there, because we get asked a lot of those questions. So a lot of summertime good information over there on Walleye Now right now. So make sure you check it out. Holy smokes, dude. That fish was out of control. This is a walleye. I don't know, that was such a strange interaction, dude. I mean, that fish saw the bait and came unglued. It is a nice walleye. Holy smokes. Was that ever a crazy interaction? I mean, I cast it out, was watching that bait go down, and all of a sudden the fish started just rocketing to the surface. Right at that bait. Come here, buddy. Another real nice walleye. Look at him. Come here, buddy. Well, we've had a decent morning. It has not been fast action by any means, but this is now our fourth, oh my goodness, our fourth real nice fish of fishing so far. And that's kind of what we're doing. It's just basically targeting these larger fish, excluding them out by looking at some of this deep structure where they're suspended up, or some of these real deep flats adjacent to like 80, 90 plus feet of water. And that's a lot of times where you find some of these nicer fish at this kind of mid-summer time frame. I'll give you a look. That was another one on the search bait. 2 on the old big shiver minnow, 1, and I guess 2 on the big search bait. That was the right reaction for sure. There we go. That was absolutely out of control, how uncorked that fish came when he saw that bait. That is not the reaction most of them are having. It's probably a 24-incher right there. You might look smaller. They probably all look smaller from 20, 30 yards away. But dude, that is what we're after. We'll take them. It's been a fun morning of targeting some of these big bites. Frustrating at times. Whenever you're big fish fishing, you're gonna get frustrated when you have reactions that don't go your way. Mitchell's probably got some good stuff of me like losing fish at the side of the boat, or some of that good old-fashioned content. I don't know how much of that's gonna make the video, but we did it. We came out, caught some nice fish. They're gonna start biting better. A lot of times these basin fish into the afternoon, especially, it was so cold this morning. We had highs in the upper 40s this morning. A lot of times you kind of get over that first big cold wave, sun gets out, starts warming that surface again. You get a little wind blowing on the basin, and you'll see a lot better fishing. But for the tougher part of the day, we pieced it together. All right, guys, another quick little morning video comes to an end. It's now 75 degrees out and sunny after a really cold, chilly August morning. But hopefully you guys kind of enjoyed watching this one. I wanted to go out, try to catch a few big fish, caught 4 really nice walleyes, lost a couple other ones. And hopefully you guys enjoyed this boat-to-boat shooting style. Definitely, obviously, a different kind of video. We can't do these ones everywhere, regardless of how much you guys like watching Mitch's cinematic big giant camera lens and shooting boat to boat. Should provide some cool shots. And I wanted to do a walkthrough on the Warrior today. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this one. Where are we gonna be next? I don't know. We've talked about some wild ideas that we could do with the John boat. And or maybe we'll be on big water casting at big walleye. So hopefully you guys enjoyed watching this one. If you're not yet, please subscribe. We'll see you on the next one.